All right, I think we're just about to get the countdown. The players are retaking their mark. We have the Scions coming out, which means they're ready to start, because those will be the first mule runs. You guys have a little bit of insight into the start now. Even if you haven't seen much racing, you at least maybe saw the first of the practice run. And we'll be kicking things off here very soon. And the players got a little bit of extra practice in, ultimately. It's not too bad.
I think that's favorable. Yeah. I mean, if anything, they're on a huge stage at ExileCon. I think the nerves could get the best of them. Don't want to make them too nervous if they can still hear us.
We're 1 minute away from the race starting. We've been informed. So, you know, we're getting close.
You're amping me up with the countdown, Jonathan. I'm very keen to see how this ends up finishing up. We're going to see probably a lot of carnage. I think, like you said, the nerves are going to be pretty tense.
Right.
I don't know, maybe this whole thing acted as a bit of an icebreaker and players chillaxing a little bit more. I mean, they look pretty relaxed. They look pretty relaxed, don't look pretty stressed. I think I'm more stressed than they are.
Ooh, I don't know. Those could be nerves underneath that. You know, tytykiller looks extremely relaxed.
No, a little too relaxed, mate. You might need those.
He is the essence of relaxation right now. That should be a new currency item.
All right. We're counting down here very shortly to the ring of the race. We have 10 seconds to go.
Here we go. Jonathan with the hype countdown. Count us down,
9,
Jonathan.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we should be off right now.
And there we go. There we go. Thank you for the countdown, Jonathan. We are off once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the ExileCon Grand Final. The top left, we have none other than tytykiller. Tie23 in the top right, the man, the myth, the legend, very elusive. Wiggle for Waggle down in the bottom left corner, and of course, Havoc down in the bottom right corner. If you've been following the races, no doubt you've seen all of these players at the top of their game in various qualifiers of different types and different experiences, and everyone here has fought hard to get here to the ExileCon Grand Finals, and it's exciting times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And some of these guys you might be recognizing, even if you maybe haven't played the game in a while, you're still going to be recognizing the faces of Havoc and Waggle, who are long-time OGs, with tytykiller and Ty both being a little bit newer to the scene, but showing extreme dominance.
Yeah, it's wild to see the younger guys effectively coming into the scene, but like practicing so much and being so on top of the game. And tytykiller especially had a very rocky journey to get here, with many close calls, many like just kind of not scraping in races over time. Oh, Waggle's having a little bit of a moment here. Waggle,
that is...
That is a moment right there. That is, I guess, a 60-second penalty.
Yeah. It's a 60-second penalty and possibly a respawn at the start as well.
That's a little bit...
Oh, he went for the deletion.
Just delete the character stuff
nice.
again.
That's the right way to do it.
Reasonable approach, I think, in this case.
Absolutely.
I think that's a reasonable play for sure.
Yes.
It can't, look, honestly, it can happen to the best of us. On a Scion, especially, struggles with Hillock at times. And
sometimes just click your potions too early, you know. Hillock looks like he's going to deliver the damage, but then he doesn't. Your potions fill up your life and cancel the animation.
Oh,
unfortunately, that's exactly what happened with Waggle. A little bit of a setback, but to a great player, I don't think it's going to be...
It can certainly come back from that, but
yes, he can come back,
definitely...
but there's got to be some emotional trauma here.
That's
you know, doing this in front of an live audience.
That's the thing. It probably doesn't feel too great. Exactly. But here he goes. He's back for revenge. On-point potioning this time. You do have to be careful with that mana and potion management in the Hillock fight. It's intended, right, as a design tutorial for potion use. That's always the sense I got for fast usage. And that's certainly the case here. Waggle getting taught a hard lesson by Hillock.
Absolutely.
He's coming on through. And,
nerves showing. They might look cool like as a cucumber on the outside, but the nerves, unfortunately, he's showing, and they're going to have to pull through that and power through and just do better.
Yeah, do better. Just do better.
Just do better.
Just do better.
Don't get hit. Do better.
Waggle did indeed get hit, but he can come back from that. There's still plenty of race left in this. If you're going to want to die anywhere, it's like right at the beginning. I think it's a fine place to die, for sure.
Yes.
And I don't think it'll be the last we see. I suspect expect there'll be more.
Dead will soon rise
Oh yeah,
again.
absolutely. These guys are putting everything on the line. They're risking all that they can. They're going to be cutting a lot of corners, trying to get through mobs as fast as possible, dodging a lot of attacks, not getting hit, not getting stunned. But with the amount of HP that they get, because they have to play so aggressively, they might run into some trouble. So it wouldn't be unusual. And especially in a format such as this one, these guys are used to hardcore races a lot of the times. So I think they're going to be taking extra risks.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have the best Path of Exile races here, but what that means is like the drive to push right close to the line and sometimes walk just a little bit over that line and fall off a cliff into Havoc, into Hillock's sword. It could definitely end up happening. So yeah, it's funny how in a game like Path of Exile you can still see some real deaths despite people being just so good at the game, and even more so sometimes. Like a more cautious, less experienced player might take their time and be a bit overleveled and be pretty safe. Maybe would never die.
Yes.
But not our players here. They're going to be doing it underleveled, undergeared. We see tytykiller and tie23he and Havoc all making it down to Hail Rake. Pretty much neck and neck. And we obviously have Waggle a little bit behind, a little bit of catch up.
I know that stench.
Yeah, but not
Like my sisters.
too much.
Not too much. He's almost there. He's almost there. But,
Hailrake, the slayer of gamers in the past. A little bit easier now with the new mechanics, Jonathan.
Right, yeah, well, I mean, you know, we're fixing this for PoE too, so...
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys from the convention got the right idea when it comes to that. There's been a lot of rips, guys.
Oh, yes. I died to what was supposed to be the new Hail Rake in a very brutal fashion. It's not even close to what we have right now for that level of boss. So racing is going to be very interesting in Path of Exile too. I'm looking forward to that. Very
As
spicy.
is in the practice run, everybody's picking up all the items that they possibly can, trying to get as much currency as they can. You can see also on Havoc's screen, he's got those topazes ready. He's going to be using a recipe. Well, not that he's got the topazes, he's not going to have to be using the recipe at all. So he's just going to be keeping those around, making sure that he's got as much equipment as possible. With Ty hitting up a blue pack, you will be seeing a lot of the times they're going to be running past mobs, but also sometimes whenever they're going to be seeing a blue pack, that tends to be a little bit more efficient in terms of experience. They're going to be taking the time to clear it out, but not every blue pack is equal. Some mobs end up being extremely tanky, and some of the extra health mobs can be tricky as well. So again, they have to adapt on the fly every time.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you'll see players only killing the largest of packs and the juiciest and easiest to kill of the blue monsters, and yeah, sometimes even skipping blue monsters, which is wild and not something players would have done much in the past. Often you would have seen players just skipping rares outright. An interesting change I heard from talking to Havoc is that he's actually started considering in certain areas of the game killing more rare monsters, and even sometimes killing like the unique monsters, like the goat boss and things like that.
I've seen in one of the practice runs something very unusual. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Havoc gets a transmute. I would see Havoc killing Kuduku. They do have a higher chance of potentially dropping blue or rare items, which really helps up with their transmutation shards for Act 1, as they do need to guarantee themselves getting that. And the less time they can take running back and picking up items as Orb of Storms and Frostbomb clears out packs, the better.
I would love to see a Kuduku kill from Havoc here, but it's pretty wild to even consider that, because I feel like 6 months ago or something, in a race we would never have seen races like trying to kill things like Kuduku. It's just like, oh, well, you've been called an idiot.
Yeah, that's a very new thing to do, but it's the way to be. You know, these guys are doing it. Everybody else should be doing it as well, let's be honest.
You got to think about, if these guys have decided to do something in their racing style, then there might well be a good reason for it because of the amount of practice here. We'll see if Havoc does go for it this time around. I think it can often come down to how much items they've found so far and what sort of monsters are on top of the boss as well, because if you can kill a bunch of extra monsters at the same time, then yeah, maybe you go for it. In this case, Havoc decided to skip, maybe either satisfied with the amount of stuff he's got right now, maybe kind of satisfied with the amount of XP as well, possibly.
Yes, he did hit level 7 even before Kuduku, so that is very significant. At this point, I think he's most likely looking to just keep up his onslaught, using that Orb of Storms, using that Frostbomb to just get ahead. Every time his blink is off cooldown, he goes for it. Oh, and as I say that, he does clear up a blue pack, running a little bit close. There is a little cheeky ledge to the left of the cage that players can run past without actually triggering the goat, but he decided it wasn't worth the time. The blue pack just didn't need to be killed? No?
Nope, I didn't know about that little not triggering the goat trick. That's interesting.
Yes.
I wonder if we'll see that from maybe Waggle, who still has to head through there. But we do see tyty and tie23 and Havoc in the lower prison now. It's an interesting zone, a good zone for experience potentially if you're finding yourself lacking a little bit behind. There are some skeleton packs which do go down pretty fast. And it can also be a difficult zone to route sometimes, but all of our players here seem to have it just down pat. And that's a huge and crucial racing skill. And it's a constant battle because the players are trying to learn the zone generation, learn how the generator works, learn the typical tricks to navigate zones as quickly as possible. And the developers keep changing things constantly and improving this zone generation. From a talk I saw earlier today, they're constantly changing it nearly every patch, adding new things, and every time the racers have to learn new zone layouts and things like that. And it's going to be changing a lot more in the future, so have fun with that, racers.
Yeah, as much fun as change is, it's a little tricky to learn. And what's also tricky is this upper prison that guys have to deal with the randomness of an enfeeble attack. Sometimes there's no necromancy, sometimes there are. They cast enfeeble, which makes it so that you can't one-shot with your frost bomb. It means that you have to weave in those orbital storms, maybe deal a little bit of damage with your movement skill. But these guys are handling it perfectly. Although Ty kind of struggling with a blue plaque right now with that enfeeble, decides to skip the majority of it, I think, and continue through the instance. I think he's looking, all these guys are looking to get level 10 as fast as possible, as it does open up that flame dash option for them, and Havoc will be the first one to do so as he's heading over to the Warden's quarters. A little bit, this is a tricky layout. Everybody's got the same layout, as you can see, so everybody's getting equally punished if they commit to something that was correct or incorrect, because sometimes you can simply make the wrong choice running through these instances.
Yeah, that's it. Get a misread and then end up committing to it. And tie23 did indeed get a pretty bad read on that last zone and commit to a big dead end, but still coming in not too far behind. tytykiller getting his Brutus down just beautifully with perfect Stormblast mines there, which is kind of a new swap over from the Explosive Trap, which is a popular choice in the past.
Yes, that was very clean, and also you don't spend as much time stacking up the bombs as Ty takes care of it as well. I feel like these skills have been extremely clean. Ty hasn't been cleaning up his inventory too much. Quite a bit of items left on the ground, but he does already have the transmute, picks up his smoke mine, very important, gets that flame dash, already level 10 prior to the Brutus kill, and now we're going to be seeing what it's all about.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing some real zoom speed very soon, as you see players weaving together multiple movement skills in an absolutely wild fashion. And not only just, it's not just about spamming these movement skills either, but about using them at the right time between packs, having the bursted move speed from Smoke Mine while you're running through the pack and killing it, and then weaving your skills together again to get to the next pack and judging the direction you need to do, all at the same time as remembering zones, remembering your gear, killing the monsters, doing all the various things you need to do as a racer. It's a lot.
Paying attention to your inventory, you have to link multiple skills, you have to get the support gems for that. Getting a transmute from Ty, but he's real happy about that, chooses to go back for it. Very important stuff. And yeah, you have to take care of your socket, something that in PoE in the future we won't have to deal with to such a degree when switching out items. You can kind of flip it up a little bit.
It's going to be interesting to see what that lets the racers do in the future, where they don't have to worry so much about the sockets and have many more sockets to play with, whether they end up working in more skills into their racing strategy and changing gear a lot more or things like that. Certainly going to be very interesting to see. Waggle coming up to his Brutus fight now, and the second half of Act 1 does go very quickly, so after you see players get their Brutus fight, they do a very quick run through the next couple of zones and get started straight away on that trip to Merveil through the Cavern of Wrath and Anger, which we see Ty and tie23 starting now.
And you can already see the power of that smoke mine, as tytykiller was a little bit behind Ty, but he's pulled significantly ahead, as tie23 does not in fact have his smoke mine equipped, probably due to some issue with his inventory management. Unfortunate. That's going to cost him a lot of time.
And we can see like the difference now in tytykiller using his movement skill. It actually looks really crazy because it looks like he's throwing the smoke mine, and at the same time, if he has enough range for it, like there's enough distance to travel, then he'll weave in the flame dash almost at the exact same time using, I think, that new animation system probably at play there. But it looks really, really full on.
It's extra difficult because the smoke mine does have a flight time, so they can't just immediately click it. They do have to wait just a tiny little bit of time until they detonate it to teleport themselves. Tricky stuff, I'm telling you guys.
It's a huge amount of practice has gone into it. From what Havoc was saying, this has taken a lot of practice to get these timings down, and also when to use them. Like, sometimes it's not better to use the smoke mines as well. Sometimes it's better just to flame dash, or just to run sometimes is better depending on the particular zone. We do see the Prevail fight phase 1 coming up for tytykiller and tie23. They're both getting through it pretty smoothly. tytykiller getting a few extra teleports, but not too much of a problem. Sometimes Prevail's not very cooperative and does like to teleport to the opposite side of the room. Second phase is a great chance for them to pre-stack a lot of damage, and tytykiller taking advantage of that to get it down to about half. tie23 having about the same level of success. tytykiller looking to close out the fight first here. If things go well, a little bit of an awkward finish, but does get it done. And then tie23 almost at the exact same time. Ooh, it's close.
Yeah, and if you blink, you might also recognize the Havoc's already in the second zone.
When did that happen?
Yeah, well, it happened quickly. I missed it as well. Currently heading over to the Great White Beast. Ooh, leaves a portal, getting over to the Crossroads waypoint. He's going to be teleporting back to town and picking up his own portal to get that Quicksilver, equip it as soon as possible, and then head on over to Sins. There might be some differences in the routing for these guys when it comes to Act 2. We've been seeing everybody kind of switching it up, coming up with new strategies, maybe playing a little bit to what's more familiar to them. But yeah, Ty does not fire. Oh no, he does find the door as well. This layout can be a little bit tricky, but being right next to the road, as we mentioned, all layouts being the same for all of these guys, they all confidently find it as Waggle, unfortunately, still heading on over to Mervell, taking care of some rare mobs on the way. Ooh, that mob is fractured. Ooh, okay, he's fine. Ooh, finds a corrupted zone though. Oh,
not what you want.
That's not fine. That's not good.
Oh no, that's not good at all.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah, we're talking about that zone generation, and a corrupted Val side area can really throw things off by adding a huge extra zone, which you might read to be the exit, but in this case, quite clearly not, and ended up heading in the wrong direction. And I was just about to say that Waggle has plenty of opportunities to catch up, but then again, the other players, if they're on top of their game, those opportunities will be very small. And if Waggle does also run into some problems like he just did, it's not going to help with the catching up. So we'll be cheering. I hope you guys are cheering for him to be able to find those moments and to capitalize on them as he goes into his second phase for Veil.
If you've ever wiggled for Waggle,
you better be wiggling right now.
You better be wiggling harder than ever.
I want to see your skeletons exiting your bodies due to such extreme wiggling.
That is very PoE fashion. I like it.
True. We see a couple shrines going down for tytykiller and tie23. I believe this is as a fixed seed. They have shrines in the same spots, but not the same shrines.
No, it would be the same shrines as well.
Oh yeah? Same shrines? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, that's certainly good to
I
see.
believe boxes would be in the same spot, but they wouldn't always be the same boxes.
Yeah, the boxes I don't think can be the same thing, but yeah, so we do see, and that's a really good thing that Granny Gear Games was for this final, able to make it as competitive as possible by making sure that it was fixed seats and everyone has the same layouts. It comes down to just their ability to read and make the right decisions on those zone layouts, and even same things like having the shrines in the same spots. So we don't just see a situation where someone gets 5 adrenaline shrines and runs very fast to the end of the race.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everyone can do that.
If you take a look at Ty's screen right now, only rocking 1 life flask. It's not a good one either.
That's brave.
Has to do a lot of dodging. Yeah, maybe that's some sort of motivation for himself. Just don't get hit, you know? It's way better. You don't get stunned. You don't get slowed down at all.
To be fair, we've never seen a first-person view of tie23's gameplay here before. And maybe this is part of his unique playstyle, having just 1 small life flask. It's an interesting one.
Unique is a good way to describe it.
maybe he's just so good. He does not need healing ever.
Held to be.
I would be skeptical of that.
Yeah, a little bit skeptical as well, as Waggle does take care of the Great White Beast with all the other guys already having their Quicksilver. We'll be seeing if he does choose to go back to town to pick up his Quicksilver as soon as possible, or if potentially he's going to be doing it from the Sin's waypoint, as he does get approached by a Ghost, but decides to run away with Havoc already in Weaver's zone. I think Havoc's been really going crazy with the Act too. That is incredible timing from him.
Absolutely crushing it. I'm very excited for the Weaver action coming up. If the racers time things very well and have the right amount of damage and do this perfectly, they can kill Weaver in a singular phase. So if we see the Weaver die without going to the ceiling, I want you guys who are watching to get hyped. Can Havoc do it? No, not even close.
That was absolutely not even close. Tricky. Sometimes Weaver's going to choose to attack, and that could definitely help you out. It's definitely a lot trickier than it would be with Explosive Trap, I think. So yeah, that's absolutely a part of it. Havoc stacking it up, but not quite making it. Maybe with the other guys. They are playing a Witch, so they do not have access to a banner that would boost up their damage, which...
I've seen it done without the banner though. Previously I thought you needed the banner to do it, the war banner for the damage boost, but I've seen in recent races players doing it on Witches without the war banner, so it can be done, but you're right, the Explosive Trap does have a lot more burst damage, whereas the Storm Blast has a little bit more of a delay in it. It kind of ramps a little bit more, so a little harder to do maybe here with this setup. tytykiller getting a level up during his Weaver fight, and no one getting the single phase Weaver, unfortunately.
Nope. It didn't even seem like the other guys were attempting it. Honestly, Waggle is one of the guys that kind of popularized the boss one-shot. Yeah. So if we're going to be seeing it, I will be putting my money on him, which hopefully is going to give him an opportunity to catch up. As you can see on the skill tree, he's heading over to those movement skill cooldown reduction nodes, trying to lower the cooldown on his abilities as much as possible, cleaning up Fidelitas.
Fidelitas.
Fidelitas? Ooh, that's a spicy take.
So many pronunciations.
I like it.
So many incorrect pronunciations.
Ooh, interesting. Ty taking down Alira.
Yeah, I'm not exactly clear on what the strategy for the bandits is now, because it keeps changing. Sometimes we get the you don't kill Oak because he takes too long. I've seen more players killing Oak now. Some people going for the helping of Alira, and but more recently, I don't know. With practice runs, I've seen killing of all the bandits, which is unusual. We do see Ty killing Oak now. Previously, Oak was nearly always a not kill, unless you had a very good reason not to, because he can be difficult to kill, as we're seeing from Ty here.
Yes.
He's jumping around, he's putting the endurance charges up, he gets very tanky, he gets very mobile.
Yeah, unfortunately, Oak is one of the examples where RNG does come into play. A lot of people... Oh! What?
Wait, what?
Is that a tabula rasa for tytykiller?
That is a tabula rasa for tytykiller. His face when he saw that.
I called it too. A lot of randomization when I was talking about it. I meant the Immortal Call and the endurance charges. I did not mean a tabula rasa.
What have you done? We see it so infrequently, and then to see it in the grand finals, someone getting one of the chase drops for the race here. tytykiller smashing out the tabula. It's going to be a thing now for him to try and figure out how to best take advantage of it, because these are the sort of things that are very difficult to practice for. Something unexpected happens. Sometimes you just don't take advantage of it. So tytykiller is starting to move his gems over, thinking about, okay, how can I maximize my support gem links here? Will I be able to manage my mana if I put too many supports on? Sometimes that can really screw you. So he's got to be careful not to go too overboard on it, but certainly it's going to make life a lot easier from here on out with the stock management. It's a good time to get it too.
Yeah, and like you said, that's very important to point out that a lot of times these guys are simply not used to this. A lot of times if they're doing a practice run and they drop a tabula, they're just going to reset. Because obviously this would never happen in the finals of ExileCon. So why would they even practice with it?
Yeah, why?
And a lot of the times it's just going to throw them off, right? They do have an opportunity to put all of their gems, possibly all of the different gems, into one item, but they do have to worry about support gems a lot more now. They might put an extra focus on their weapons, which would help them out. And something that might speed them up might also end up simply slowing them down due to the lack of practice with such a prestigious
Indeed, yeah.
Just item.
Yeah, it's normally not something that you can accommodate very easily, but that's a high-end racer skill, is the ability to be able to take advantage of unforeseen circumstances and adapt to these sorts of situations. I was talking to Havoc about the potential of a Tabula. I was like, what would be the item that would drop really early in the race that you think would make the biggest difference? And he said he doesn't think a Tabula would make that much difference. The players have practiced this so well. So while we're hyping a Tabula drop, it's not a game ender for tytykiller, because these players have practiced so much that they've got their links sorted out. They know how to go about getting their correct links most of the time without too much trouble. So a tab certainly helps, but doesn't change the game. The big one would be getting like Wanderlust early on.
Absolutely, and that is something that is very important to point out. Because
wait, did I just see Wanderlust on Waggle?
No. Oh, yes. I would like to see a yes.
Yes?
No, that must have been a filter.
I swear I saw Wanderlust on Waggle. We might have missed it while talking about the Tabula. I swear.
No way.
We don't have chat feedback, so we don't know, but chat's probably
okay, so chat might be freaking out that the Tabula would be a big boost, but amongst all of the things that you've mentioned previously, a big part of it is movement speed, which Wanderlust would help a lot with.
Yes.
And if you're paying attention to what these guys are wearing right now, and especially what tytykiller was wearing previously as his chest piece, it was nothing. And that is because a chest piece does reduce your movement speed. In the case of Tabula, I believe it's either 3 or 5% movement speed. And that seemed like a lot, but it is. It's a big difference. They really struggle to get that 10%. tytykiller hitting us with a big true.
A big true. I'm wondering what that is about specifically. But I swear, if my eyes may be deceiving me, we are watching kind of like on the stage here. It's a little tricky with the lights, but I swear, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see a little bit later maybe, but if so, that's definitely a huge boon for Waggle in the catch-up game that he's currently having to play, and he's doing a pretty decent job here. It's in the Val Ruins, which puts him about 2 zones behind the other folks. My math is correct.
I'm not sure. I'm looking at Waggle. That movement speed does not look Wanderlust worthy.
Yeah?
Waggle, open your inventory. Oh! Quickly snipes all of the nodes, might be picking up the entirety of that cooldown reduction wheel, getting as much cast speed as possible as they are going to be dual wielding. No shields allowed.
No
Absolutely
shields.
not.
Never.
Shields as well, they do slow you down, and they don't increase your damage a lot of the time, so
Not much.
Nope.
Not more than a wand, exactly. You don't want any of those slowdowns where possible, and you'll see players only equip chest armors very late into the run here.
As Havoc does start getting ready for his Vol kill, this is a little bit of an opportunity for him to kind of manage his inventory. He takes full advantage of it, and he is going to be unleashing his skitter bots and preparing that Stormblast mine. Ooh,
pretty
quite
spicy.
clean, but is it going to be clean enough with a well-positioned? Oh, okay, yeah, I don't even have to say anything.
No, perfection, no commentary needed from Havoc there. Absolutely perfect Val kill. Killing the ads and getting Val stuck into a 2 cycle of the initial ad spawning phase, which allows him to just kill him straight up. Will we see the same thing here from tie23he, whose damage is looking pretty good? We see a second cycle from Val. Will be enough? His damage slowed down a little bit. No, nice,
there we go.
At the end
Okay.
there. Another perfect run from tie23he. I would expect no less.
Yeah, I think he also even triggered his mines a second time because he knew that he wouldn't need the chain. He was just gonna pop it all off, spamming that detonation, something that they're most likely used to from the smoke mine plays. And I think the other guys might be sweating a little bit already, you know? tytykiller only recently entering the Ancient Pyramid, with Waggle just now hitting the waypoint leading up to Ancient Pyramid, quite a bit behind. Hopefully they're going to be able to catch up as Havoc does hit Starn Encampment, and the first player to do so as well, with tie23he very closely behind him.
Ooh, when you just enter the Sun Encampment yourself after a perfect Val kill and you see Havoc's name just appear on screen just a second before you get there, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Gotta feel that a little bit.
Thing is too that I feel in terms of playstyle, Havoc does feel a lot better being the player in lead rather than the player catching up. He's kind of known for being the guy to not just lead these races, but also the level 100 races. And he seems just very confident in that position, something that throws a lot of other guys off because they feel this extra pressure on them now that they have to show, they have to perform. Havoc, he loves it.
there's a big difference mindset-wise from chasing a set pace to setting your own pace and setting a sustainable pace as well. So certainly, but Havoc seems to thrive under that pressure and always looks super calm. We see tytykiller coming now into his Val kill. We'll see how it goes. A little bit of a little slight movement at the start there, and does not get the ads, resulting in Val disappearing. That's what the other players did so well to avoid.
There is a little bit of randomization when it comes to that. Sometimes Val will spread out his ads significantly more than if you were to shoot them very closely to himself, which does make it tricky. There was a short arc meta in the past, and in that case, it wouldn't matter, but for these guys with Orb of Storms and the mine, it can be quite tricky to just pull off enough damage in a large enough area to take down Vol without him actually going submerging. Ooh, a nice belt from Havoc. I do believe he made a little bit of a face as the belt and the RNG sickens him to his core. He doesn't feel like he needs it, but he'll still take full advantage of it.
Yes, he might act disgusted, but he disgustedly placed the belt around his waist. I'd like to point out.
Yeah, not a moment of hesitation.
Just feels a little bit dirty about equipping such a nice item.
Ooh,
nice
that was
smoke mine.
Yeah, that was a nice smoke mine.
Nice.
Smoke mine does enable you a lot more skips than what was possible previously with just Flame Dash. You can throw it quite a bit further, but you need to be able to throw it over things. So in the past, especially a long time ago, players would look to skip a lot of the Act 4 as leveling wasn't as popular as we've mentioned in the past. So there are a lot of really nice skips in Act 4 that you can fully take advantage of if you have a blink. Ooh, Havoc dropping low. If you have a blink arrow or a lightning warp, but the smoke mine does also enable a lot of those skips, and these guys are going to be taking full advantage of, and it's something to learn for all of us, you know?
Absolutely. A lot that can be learned from watching some races. I know that studying race VODs in the past certainly helped just improve my general gameplay, and being able to level fast at the start of a league certainly is very advantageous. So feel free to get some of these VODs out and do some studying if you want to have a spicy league start for 3.9 coming up very soon.
I like that. And yeah, everybody's fully committed now to the Orb of Storms, potentially getting that wave of conviction going later on. Havoc being the only player who's already got it picked up and also showing on his bars. It could be that the other guys have it. It could be that maybe they were missing some currency to get it.
Well, I see Arc from tytykiller, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's unlinked though. I don't know.
Preparing for later, possibly? I mean, it has been a popular choice up to this point, and sometimes exploring new options in your practice can be detrimental instead of just refining what you're already working with. So
there we go.
With the Arc.
tytykiller comfortable with his keybinds, switching them around, showing us the other bar. So there's a lot more going on here that we're led to believe.
Right. There's other bars now. The multi-bar. Love it.
We appreciate it, tytykiller.
Thanks, buddy.
Nicely done, as the players do now pick up Elemental Overload, heading over to Nimbleness, again focusing a lot on that cast speed, hopefully being able to cast as many abilities as fast as possible.
Yep. That's definitely important.
Yes.
Killing stuff out as possible.
You know?
Do the things as quickly as possible, and certainly cast speed can help with that. We're seeing, how far are we seeing Waggle behind now? He's just in the sewers, and tytykiller is a little bit further ahead, but that's a pretty good catch-up, at least to tytykiller.
Unfortunately, Waggle did have that Hillock fiasco, but it's not like he's, tytykiller dropping extremely low. That potion is not healing him as fast as I think he would like to, but does pull through. I think maybe he's lacking a little bit of lightning resistance, something that he's probably going to be looking into later on. Drops low again, playing it up for the fans. I love it.
Love it. Once again, we see tie23 with just the one life blast. Does he know something we don't know?
Maybe, apparently, life blasts lower your movement speed or something. I don't know.
In before, we all discover that Life Blast had a -1% move speed penalty, and tie23 is the only one who knew about it. But it's certainly a little bit of a head scratcher. But he doesn't seem fazed by it at all. He's not a problem, and I haven't even seen him go low really. So Why do you need a second life loss for?
Honestly, I think he's trying to trick the game into dropping a third Quicksilver.
I see.
Like, oh, yeah.
It's an open invitation to a third Quicksilver.
Yes. Look what I got for you, an empty slot.
Come on in.
Yes,
move in. See, Ice Nova Box from tytykiller decides to book it out of there, just kill a few extra mods. Just treating the lockbox like it's a few extra monsters.
Yeah, and you're going to be seeing that a lot. The main focus right now, because Orb of Storms does enough damage, the main focus is going to be rotating that smoke mine, making sure that it's always on cooldown. Same for your Flame Dash. It's extremely difficult as he finds a corrupted zone, something that I'm sure he wouldn't like to see. We'll be seeing if the other guys have found one as well.
Well, it will be there for all of them, so it kind of just comes down to the zone reads then, I believe.
That's where the real skill comes in.
Yeah, definitely, and that can be very difficult with things that don't generate very often in maps, because practicing for something that only happens 1 out of every 100 times is both, well, not really worth it and also very difficult to do.
An interesting strategy also from Waggle already heading on over to the Solaris Temple, I believe before docks, as tytykiller actually does the same thing. How did this happen? Is Waggle ahead of tytykiller, or did he?
I think so. Like,
he would have the instance revealed if he would have gone to docks. So
yeah,
I think Waggle's caught up. Something's going on. Maybe you weren't kidding about those Wonderlands.
I swear I saw him. Chat will know, and I mean that's what it comes down to here. Is we'll pick up as many details as we can, but we will miss some things because there's so much going on in a race like this. So chat, it's your job to pick up all the things we miss and to spam them in chat and call us fools. That is your job, chat. So you guys enjoy doing that. Waggle is zooming very fast, though. I'll just say that much, and is all the way into the second level of Solaris Temple now. And I was just noting that we see the skill distribution kind of lining out a little bit now. We do see Waggle and Havoc with the popular Wave of Conviction Orb of Storms, which has the dual effect of lots of damage, debuffing, the ability to drop mobile damage, and the Wave of Conviction when you need a bit more of a hit of damage, some more instantaneous damage and debuffing action. tytykiller does seem to be using the Arc. So.
Yeah, he does have access to that Tabula, and that's going to switch things up a lot. But I mean, again, all of these guys qualified. All of these guys showed that they've got what it takes to compete at ExileCon. And yet, despite having the Tabula, he's a little bit behind the other guys. So it might just be throwing him off. And like we mentioned, it's not as big of a boost. It's a big comfort boost for somebody who isn't as familiar with the game as these guys are. But for them, it's just another problem, you know?
Yeah. In a lot of cases here, players might be comparing like a 3-link Wave of Conviction to a 3-link Arc, or maybe a 4-link to a 4-link. But there's a potential of tytykiller using like a 5-link Arc here. And in that case, it might end up being a little bit better than Wave of Conviction. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Havoc and Ty, neck and neck, exactly at the same spot, heading over to Piety through the Lunaris Temple with the recent changes to the tentacle miscreations. They aim a lot better now, and
they've got more accurate.
They aren't particularly friendly either.
They've always been a little bit intimidating if you didn't pick your running lines very well, as they do fire a barrage in a straight line, but and they do a lot of damage, but generally you can sidestep it quite easily. But they're getting a little bit scarier now, a little bit more accurate, maybe leading their shots a little bit.
They've been definitely playing some FPS games because they're finally turning, getting quicker every time. Soon we won't be able to get away. As Ty enters Piety's zone, we'll be seeing what kind of strategy he's going to be going for. Possibly we could be full screening it to see whether or not... Unfortunately, we can't full screen it, but we can still see all the action. Not using any portals, not trying to reset any of the fight, swiftly taking care of it and heading over to his skill point to get that little bit of a boost as he picks up new skill gems to power himself up. I believe that was a lightning trap.
The Piety kill can go very smoothly, but sometimes she teleports right onto Ice Phase and can catch you with a nasty hit and a freeze. And having exactly that experience here, only just managing to slip between the 2 ice shots that would have ended his life. However, he's not out of the woods yet because Piety teleports onto another Ice Phase again and fires some more arrows at him. He opens the portal, he's like, I need to get out of here. I'm still recovering from that last hit. but realizes he's far enough away. He's behind a pillar, is okay. Whew,
Havoc showing some emotion, taking a big sigh of relief.
Yes.
He did calm down halfway through that, dropping the panic portal, making sure that he's got it up in case he would die. But I think he still knew that he could take care of the fight. What you can do with the portals for this fight is not only can you reset the phases of piety, so if she shifted to another form, you can reset that with a portal if you just exit and enter back in, but also you can reset the rings on the floor, which possibly allows you to dodge her lightning warp in a sense.
Even with that knowledge, though, she can sometimes still catch you off guard, and that was very close to opening the fight with the ice form and getting some big hits in, and Havoc only narrowly avoiding death there with a perfect Matrix-style dodge.
Absolutely, and those Alira kills are showing because the extra resistances they could be getting would have definitely benefited him in that situation.
Makes a huge difference to have an extra, what is it, 12% resistance? An extra cold resistance, lightning resistance makes a big difference.
I think it's 20, 25.
Is it more? Oh, it's so much.
It's so much.
It's so much.
Yeah, it's really big.
tytykiller going very low there to a blue pack of the dogs, and a little bit scary. We did hear, I think we just heard one of their loot filters.
Yeah, Ty has a extremely powerful loot filter.
It's a very potent loot filter. We've seen a lot of the races start to use loot filters that have voiceovers for specific items dropped. So I think what we just heard in the background there, I don't know if you guys heard on stream, but it was a 2B1G, which is like the
two
item
blue,
with the right
one
sockets.
green sockets.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's pretty creative use of loot filters to help with the racing. So every now and then you might hear a little bit of background talking and you're wondering what that is. It's probably the loot filter telling them something crucial.
Yeah, if something drops off screen, it's going to be very important. These guys are familiar with the sound. Oh my goodness, I thought I was going to have a second to talk about filters and stuff, but no, Ty doesn't wait for anybody. Takes down the abs immediately. Make sure, oh my goodness.
Tie23 just putting out huge amounts of damage there. He does have his Lightning Spire trap now, which makes a large amount of difference for the boss killing. Being able to put out 3 of those and having the extra burst damage, and holy moly, that damage.
That was absolutely insane. I was wondering if they're maybe going to be picking up a flamethrower trap and rotating their abilities, something. Nope. Just, oh, he doesn't even look at him. He didn't even look him in the eyes. What?
Kills him while basically leaving the zone at the same time.
Turns his back. See you later, homie.
The absolute cheek on Tie23. Well, the goal.
That is incredible. Is that due to his gear?
That's aggressive. I feel like it's just one of those
Let's
little
check out Havoc's fight. Let's just see. No, it's the same thing. They're absolutely nuts.
Damage. So much damage.
These are some good builds.
Havoc changing filters mid-boss fight. He's got different filters for different parts of the race.
He's got 4 filters. I said 4.
Wow. Havoc has 4 filters for the one race, swapping it up at certain points in the game. Optimization, I tell you what, and there goes Dominus. But you see, Havoc sticks around to pick up his loot. Not like Tie23, he's like out of there.
Gave him a second.
I don't even care what Dominus drops.
Oh my goodness.
Havoc
disrespect from Ty.
So much.
I still can't believe it.
I know, it's just like shocking.
Ridiculous.
Did you see that shocking display?
As Waggle heads over to town, has to now clean up his gear a little bit, getting those sockets, making those juicy items. Very late though. The alteration came in late. It seems like he did it as soon as possible. Probably used a lot of his alterations to pick up a lot of the other gems that he needed previously. And tytykiller still heading over to Piety. These gaps are getting huge. Havoc and Ty are just going crazy here, with Ty already being in the mine, and now Havoc only now getting to the Act 4 town. Oh my goodness, what is happening with Ty?
I know, they were so close together, and just this gap by second is getting wider. I think we're starting to see, and it's so hard to even pick what it is in particular that makes Tie23 win at every single race. And I think I'm trying to pick what it is, but he's faster than the rest of them.
I'm trying to pay attention to the face expression. Havoc seeing Ty enter Mines 2. little displeased. He got that little, I'm not quite there, but I'll get you type of look.
Havoc taking a little bit of damage there, but no worries, not sweating it too much. We see tie23 through about half the crystal veins now, getting caught on a few packs there though. Something I know the racers were pretty excited for is that they would be all playing on the exact same realm here, under the exact same circumstances, so it's really exciting for them to be able to like play under basically optimal conditions like 4 ping or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is very helpful. Ooh, Waggle committing to a proximity shield blue pack. Dips halfway through. I bet he's not particularly happy about that choice. Sometimes you get greedy with those blue packs, and unfortunately, Scepter of God is an extremely tricky zone. A lot of things that are gonna slow you down, possibly even freeze you, or deny you the possibility of dealing damage altogether.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff can happen in the up to Scepter of God, and it's a place you'd rather just skip entirely if you could in a lot of cases and make up the XP elsewhere. But Waggle actually killing quite a bit in here, keeping that XP high, even though it's a little bit more of a difficult zone.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is kind of necessary. These guys are only going for the Act 5 Kitaba kill, and what's extremely important about that is that they will not be doing lab, which means that they're not getting the extra XP, so they have to get that XP somewhere. They have to be pretty much at least level 29. That's the absolute bare minimum. And usually when you do see level 29 entering mines, it's kind of risky. So they are looking to get level 30, possibly even level 31. But Waggle only being level 28, approaching now Dominus, that's not high enough. He needs more XP. He has to commit to those skills, and that's going to cost him a lot of time.
It's a little rough, and that's the sort of thing that you start to see have a real snowball effect. It just gets worse and worse as the race goes on. But Waggle does manage to overtake tytykiller here and get to Dominus first, at the very least. So we're seeing a bit of a shuffling of the player positions here. And Waggle moving into the second phase of his Dominus kill, and tytykiller backtracking a little bit, not quite picking the right path through the upper Scepter of God there, unfortunately, which is not what he wants right now.
Yes. I think a large part of the initial shock on tytykiller's face when dropping the tabula was, what the hell do I do with this thing? It might have been also nice RNG, but I think, yeah, it's just difficult for him to kind of get it all together. This is not what he's used to. It doesn't allow him to min-max his gameplay, and
it's not going to win the race for him, we can say that much.
Yes.
I did notice that tytykiller has swapped over to Wave of Conviction now, so while he was using Arc briefly, it might have just been a little bit of a gap filler before he did swap over. So a little interesting to see like the more organic changing of skills there.
Absolutely. As tie23 has already taken down the Reso in a very clean fashion, Havoc still heading over, now dealing with Barcool as Ziggy gets shocked by the sheer
I didn't
idea
even see
of
the Reso fight.
Oh, will we see a big skip from Ty? Whoa! There you go, the smoke mine act for skips coming in. It's been a while since we've seen those. Again, something in the past that you have to use Lightning Warp with, but with this smoke mine, he takes full advantage of it. That means that he's got enough XP, he's confident, his gear is good, he doesn't have to worry about any of that stuff, and he can get through these zones as fast as possible, and that's a big skip. This is going to allow him to save many seconds.
Yeah, the lava fall skip is a huge. It actually cuts a huge
second
section. Oh, he's doing it again!
Oh! That's crazy.
Skips so much of the zone, but it's a double-edged sword because there's a lot of monsters you're missing, and like Raz was saying, you have to be confident at that point. But he's cutting through this zone
Level 32. He knows exactly what he's doing. Level 32 is perfect as he approaches Comb. Let's see what he can do here. Will it be as clean as his Duressa kill? Honestly, not. Whoa! Double hit! What's happening?
Doesn't even care.
He leaves it on the ground. He doesn't need the alterations. Alchemy Orbs, forget about it. He just moves away.
I think anyone who ever doubted the authenticity of tie23's racing because we hadn't seen much of him, and people always do when someone's mysterious, has got to be like, well, eating their words right now because we see just phenomenal racing here, just down to every detail from tie23, mapping out exactly how much XP he needed, how much stuff he could skip, and still be exactly on point. And
yeah, Ty is one of those guys that goes to an internet room, you know, some sort of game, and everybody's like, this guy's a cheater. And all he does is sits there confidently being really happy. It's the best of compliments, when somebody considers you a cheater. And we've been seeing that a little bit, you know, with him not showing it. Some people are like, he's definitely cheating. This guy can't be.
He's got to be.
He
No
can't
one can
possibly be that good.
Right. No one can be. But
he's on the stage of ExileCon, and he is that good, guys. It's crazy.
It just so happens he is. It's not using an aimbot at all. As it turns out.
As it turns out, yeah.
You were just bad in that Call of Duty lobby that time. You were just bad.
Yep.
Sorry to tell you. It wasn't an aimbot.
There goes tytykiller going for Vol. Havoc going for Comb. A tie quickly dealing with Piety. No problems there at all.
She did not even have a chance to have a spin.
No.
So sad.
No spins for her.
No spins.
Cyclone's been there. She didn't get the memo.
Havoc taking down his Calm nicely. Scooping up the item and getting on out of there. Choosing to do his fireside before heading on over to Dresso, which we saw the opposite with tie23he, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter this much now because tie23he is in the Harvest and is now taking on the trio of mini-bosses in the lead-up to the Malachi fight. He has to get their organs, and they can be some little dangerous fights. They have a pretty small health pool, so with the damage that Ty's putting out, it's a pretty fast kill. But they can still snipe you if you get unlucky timing on some of those skill uses.
Yeah, and when it comes to Comb and the Resto, it might boil down to personal preference or simply itemization. They might give themselves a little bit more of an opportunity to possibly get some cold resistance gear or some fire resistance gear, whatever they've got going on. Again, another strategy they have to adapt to, and Havoc is not adapting quickly enough to those spinning swords that the Resto is simply dropping on him ruthlessly.
Those swords can be a real problem sometimes. Sometimes they just appear right underneath you and you have to react right at the moment because they do just chunk away at your health. And he's doing okay. We got... Oh, he's not doing okay. I take my words back. He's going very low and on the swords there, not finding a moment to have a breath and let his healing flask take effect. And he's out of healing flask now, so he can't make another mistake right now.
There we go.
Perfect.
There's drops to his knees in respect.
Respect.
But also sneakily drops some swords as well. It's like, oh yeah, no, totally, dude. Here's some swords.
Like, oh, I submit to your superior warrior while he throws sand in Havoc's eyes. Dirty fighter. The rest are doing whatever it takes, but still losing. Superior Havoc. We see tie23he chilling out over in the corner here, waiting for the animations to occur. I think he might have been doing a little bit of a skip there, but
yeah,
not quite sure, yeah.
A little bit of skippage going on, absolutely, as he prepares for this Malachi fight. Quickly getting over to the heart, dealing as much damage as possible. You can kind of prepare yourself for whenever Malachi does teleport over to that heart. Doesn't take that chance here, which means that he is going to be dropping a little bit lower, and this fight is going to be taking a little bit more time. This last heart is really when this fight gets tricky, because if you're paying attention to his HP, he's got a 680 HP, which isn't a lot. If you're an average PoE player, you probably have more like 1,000, maybe sometimes even if you're on hardcore, you're really freaking out, 1,500 HP.
Yeah.
None of that for these guys. They gotta burst through as much as possible. And every item that you're picking up, every item that you're ADing is an opportunity for you to maximize your gameplay, either deal with mobs faster or simply get ahead with those movement skills. They can't take a second.
And
no rest.
That was something you were talking to me about the other day, that tytykiller is often seen as just like excellent itemization in that regard. And but I don't know, we're not seeing it so well for him today. He's not getting the right items. He's not getting it put together.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do believe that, I hate to say it, but the Tabulous simply throwing him off his game, you know?
Maybe
it was the nerves, maybe it was the pressure. He's off his game, he's trying to do the best. I think he's picking up, he got a gold rim!
Oh, okay. That's
swiftly eclipse it, doesn't even check. Oh, he's getting a little frustrated. A little jittery, not a lot of time to catch up to the other guys as he makes his way through the calm zone. Whoa, tytykiller must not be happy with his performance here, considering the amount of RNG. Does go for the skip.
misses it on the first throw, but does get it on the second throw. Yeah, it's like getting a gold rib and a tabula on the one player here is absolutely wild. And certainly the resistance from the gold rim would carry all the way here. Very, very helpful, but it certainly would have wanted a little earlier, but I guess you can't complain too much. But it's difficult to like keep up with all these.
Yes.
All these moments, I'm sure, right now for him.
Absolutely. Waggle fighting the rest of Havoc cleaning up the mini bosses, leading up to Malachi. Both of them dropping low constantly, not a lot of defense going on. Similar amounts of HP, with tytykiller actually being the guy with the least amount of HP, only at 560. Yeah, the less HP you've got, the more you get stunned, but at this point, oh my goodness, what is happening on Ty's screen? Dodges expertly as he deals with the man in possession of the Eyes of Zeal.
tytykiller going very low to some fireballs at the start of that fight. I was a little bit worried he was going to get stun locked on those fireballs, but he managed to just slip out of range and take down his counter fight. Waggle going a little low in the belly of the beast there. The belly of the beast has some scary monsters in it. Yeah,
that puncture will really kick your ass. It can be very tricky if you keep moving. You can't stop. You got to keep moving.
No. You're in a race. You can't stop and wait for a puncture.
Absolutely
to
not.
Yeah. At the same time, they can do a lot of damage, those punctures. And we do see Waggle kind of bleeding out now. I can hear some bleeding in the background there. Sounds pretty juicy.
Yep. Havoc taking down Malachi. I want to say slowly but surely, but honestly, none of this has been slow so far. No. These guys are going absolutely ham, wasting no time, having a little bit, some extra animations for Havoc. Maybe we're going to be able to full screen just to see the second phase and the amount of expertise that these guys have to go through to be able to pull up these fights nicely. Unfortunately, still not possible. Havoc dealing with the heart, taking it down nicely, having to wait for the teleport, having to dodge a little bit. That wave of conviction, quite a short range. He has to utilize his lightning trap. There you go. Second heart going definitely a lot better than it did for tie23he. Nicely dodging, obviously leading Malachi to the last heart, which is going to speed it up that much more. And with this last heart being taken down...
Ooh, a few tickles there.
Havoc drops low.
A little bit of a tickle there at the end of the fight.
I was going to say Malachi is vulnerable, but there's nothing vulnerable about him.
No, not
sticking
quite.
around till the very end. And,
almost punishing Havoc right at the end of the fight there. Very scary stuff.
Yeah, but also Havoc wastes no time logging out immediately. Has it perfectly timed. Nicely done.
He's like, this fight's over. I'm out. Animations. No, don't even. Just forget about him.
Oh my goodness, look at Ty's screen, skipping all the blue packs, gets through Innocence as fast as possible. And normally, if you were to look at this, his character is extremely underleveled, extremely underpowered, but with the skill selection and the build that he's created for himself here, he simply bursts through all of these zones. It can be very tricky, but apparently not for him, man.
Apparently not. We see there's a few things going on right now. Like tytykiller and Waggle find themselves in a position where they have to start maybe skipping more than they'd be comfortable, going through a little bit less leveled, spending less time on gearing to try and catch up. And I mean, it's nearly all or nothing in this race. Like, yeah, you'd be happy with the third, sure, but you don't want to be risking that fourth. And I mean, you want to try and win this thing. Yes. And tie23he now is just. He's moments away from the Katava fight because this Innocence fight is a very scary hurdle, but he's looking very confident in it. And it's almost like instant. You'll blink and you'll miss it. He'll be at Katava right after the Innocence fight if all goes well for him.
Yeah, it can be extremely tricky. Havoc is a player that has had some very difficult Innocence fights in the past, so I'm sure he is a little bit stressed about the upcoming encounter. But right now, he's taking care of it taking care of his inventory very nicely, making sure that he's ready and good to go, as Ty has already been fighting, getting through what I believe would be the second stage. Yes, there you go. There's the ads. There's a set amount of ads that I'm sure Ty is counting. Yep. I'm sure he's not even counting, and he's just got him timed in his head. Yeah,
it's part of his body at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. He is known to be one of the guys that just out-practices everybody, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't sure what I was going to see today when looking at Ty's gameplay. The first time really seeing it from first-person perspective, and I wasn't sure if I'm going to see something crazy, but we haven't. We've just seen like a lot of little things stacking up. Like he's just a bit faster in his inventory management. He reads those zones perfectly every time, and that sort of stuff just comes down to like just tons and tons of practice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just have to get so familiar with the content, you know. Ooh, Waggle drops a little low, but no, takes down Malachi, picking up a little bit, using that portal to get out. No logouts for him today.
Life the corruption.
We got the Malachi fight coming up for tytykiller, and hoping that it goes smoothly for him so he has a nice clean run into the next act. We do have Havoc making the run through the outside exterior areas of the zone now to get onto his Innocence fight.
Another unique for Ty.
What?
I think it's this filter. It's just impossible.
Everything is a unique. His filter stack and everything is a unique. Tie23 is outside. Once again, you'll notice things look a little different to Havoc's outside because now he's on the way to Catawba and he just have to navigate a very short run of zone here. A little bit of a side trip here in the ossuary, and then he's on the Catawba fight. So keep a close eye on Tie23's gameplay while simultaneously watching all three other screens because we do have, of course, the second phase of Malachi starting up for tytykiller. Waggle moving through some very precarious zones, and Havoc running as fast as he can. I want to say I've seen a huge amount of improvement in Havoc's gameplay as well. Particularly I noticed in this, his inventory management, his town management stuff has just been really on point. He had said that he's been practicing that sort of thing a lot, that optimizing that gameplay, and well, he's not too far behind in second place at the moment right now.
Yeah, but like we talked before, when it comes to practice, Ty is the monster, you know, for these guys. They're playing the game and also they're practicing. To Ty, practice is the game, you know? He's very reminiscent of one of the old school racers like Dead and Doom who simply wouldn't play the game, but he loved racing. He loved to just improve his time, and that was the game for him, to compete in these sort of events. And
yeah, since you mentioned it, I don't know that I've ever seen Tie23 playing the regular game of Path of Exile. For him, the regular game, like you said, is racing.
He doesn't even know what maps are. Let's go, maps?
What's a map? Unless it's in a race. Oh, there's things at the end of some of those longer races. Okay, I gotcha.
Oh yeah, he's done a map before.
Yeah, he's done a couple of
There's
those
been a race
races.
before.
He's very, very experienced on the T1 to 5 maps.
But this is it. If Ty doesn't die, and there's a lot of opportunity for him to get one shot. Yeah. It would be that he's going to be finishing here unless, if he dies, he's going to have to stand around for 1 minute, which will give an opportunity for Havoc to come back and catch up. I don't know, he's looking really confident right now, though.
Yes, this is the moment. The huge explosions are a one-shot at this point. Tie23 comfortably dodging it. This is it. This is the final moments of the race for Tie23. Can he close things out without large mistake? And at the moment, things are looking pretty good. The heart phase, first heart phase not too bad. Second heart phase much scarier. We'll see how that goes. But Tie23's damage is looking very spicy, and that helps a lot.
But with his defense, the mistake doesn't need to be large. It can be very tiny, and it'll suffice to the pleasure of Havoc. But no, Ty pulling through steadily.
Heart phase going down very rapidly. It's a chunky heart, but avoiding standing off to the side there at the right moment as some of the ads started to spawn a little bit more than he wanted, but the damage being very good on the hearts there. And
this might be it. He's done.
He's done. He's done.
He's done it. He's done it. He's a gamer.
He's a gamer.
Tie23 takes it.
Congratulations to Tie23 for a just monstrous display, proving beyond all shadows of a doubt that he is a phenomenal racer, and smashing all the qualifiers through, smashing the grand final with room to spare. An absolutely crazy run. I'm very curious if we can find the time that he got in winning his race, and I'll get that to you folks very soon, but nonetheless, he has indeed taken first place and wins a massive grand prize. But the race is not yet over, folks, because we have 3 more races, and Havoc is working his way through the second phase of the Innocence fight, a very scary phase.
Incredible performance from Ty. Havoc, a little bit of frustration, I'm sure, but despite Ty, 23 claiming the $10,000, there's still a lot on the line for Havoc as well.
Very spicy prize there for Tie23. He's got to be feeling pretty good about that. But he looks calm, you know. He looks chill.
Yes.
Looks like he's having a relax. Maybe he's going to check out the other players' race, see how they're going. He's destroying his items.
Ty is destroying his items. And the race continues with Havoc pushing through. Preparing slowly for his Kitava fight. I think he is somewhat aware of where the other players are, so he does know that he has a little bit of extra time as tytykiller and Waggle actually are catching up, I would say. Waggle is very close behind, and he was also the first player to get the last highest level. Therefore, he should have a tiny bit of an advantage with these upcoming boss fights that he now has to deal with. And well, I do think for Havoc, Innocence was the difficult part. I've never seen him struggle with Kitava, but I've definitely seen Waggle unfortunately choke in all sorts of moments when it comes to these races. Never though on Innocence or Kitava, so we should still be fine, but he can always surprise us. Well, anybody can really always surprise us with these.
I think it's been full of surprises this time, and Waggle's recovering from his early death quite well with a pretty nice effort on the catching up here. He's got a little bit of work to catch up to Havoc right now. And, oh, we just had a little bit of a very unfortunate technical difficulty there.
Uh-oh.
It looked like everyone froze at the exact same time. Unfortunately, tytykiller suffering the worst of that with the death.
tytykiller, the best and the worst of RNG.
That's true. That's true. That's very true. tytykiller says, "It's okay. I suck lol." That's not true, tytykiller. I don't know if you can hear me. You're amazing. It can happen, and very unfortunate that does happen here at the end of ExileCon, but, well, the internet's going to internet, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a shame.
That's a good way to describe it, as Havoc makes his way over to Kitava with Waggle finishing up the Innocence fight quite smoothly despite some technical difficulties. And we'll be seeing does Havoc have what it takes?
Does he Havoc it? I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm disappointed.
It was going so well. I don't know.
The commentary's been going so well up until this point. But nonetheless, we'll find out either way. It's just right now as Havoc moves into his Kitava fight. And there's a little bit of chance here for Waggle and tytykiller to duke it out to finish things off. Waggle heading into the ossuary. tytykiller has to finish off his Innocence fight, unfortunately. Certainly gonna hurt. I do feel for him right now, but nonetheless, the focus is on Havoc.
Yeah, if Havoc goes down here, that Waggle would be pretty happy about that. I don't know if he would be fully aware of the circumstances that he's in. Havoc keeps dropping low, man. He keeps getting hit, but just enough to not die, and that's something that we've seen from this race, outside of that one unfortunate incident at the very start.
Oh, Havoc. Watch the chieftain
Calm
there.
down, Havoc. Come on, man.
Very scary. Just eating a couple punches from the... There's two unique monsters that can get summoned from the heart phase, and he's just kind of standing there eating a few back-of-the-head punches. Not what he wants. Waiting to the last moment to dodge the explosions there. Getting a little bit...
No life flask as he has to dodge the degeneration on the ground. Expertly played. That was extremely tricky.
Yeah, that was very close. Havoc giving us a very exciting Kitava kill here. tie23he's Kitava kill, boring. He had it covered. Too easy, too good a gamer. No problems whatsoever. Havoc, however, giving us some exciting moments here, pushing the line.
Havoc's clearly playing it up for the crowd. He's got the fight fully under control. No issues for him. And with that, he's going to take it down. A sign of relief, a quick stretch. Havoc takes second place.
Just a little stretch for Havoc.
A quick sip. He's been thirsty for that second place. Nicely done. Extremely well played. Fantastic display from Havoc.
Absolutely. A massive congratulations. I don't see the chat, but put some hype in there if you're watching on Twitch for Havoc for a phenomenal run. What a gamer.
What a gamer. Representing Method. Very nicely done. And now we've got the third and the fourth place to finish up. So let's get some cheers going for these guys as Waggle gets prepared, despite everything, for his Kitava kill. Quickly teleports out, doesn't waste any time, makes sure that his flasks are full, gets ready for that hard phase. And let's see what he can do here. Nice patterns on the ads, and he dealt with it no problem. He does have mind over matter, I do believe, so quite a bit of defense for him there. Not as much reserve aura. Taking down the next phase, TPing out, refreshing, making sure that he's got everything as much under control as possible.
I'm wiggling. I'm wiggling.
Oh,
Russ.
That's what that was. I'm like,
what's he doing? What's he doing? I'm wiggling for Waggle right now. Very excited. He had such an upset on Hillock, but he's going to prove it. Because what's the real test? Hillock or Kitava? Well, like maybe Hillock, but Kitava, final phase here, dodging the last little explosion, and
just like that, takes it down, takes the third place despite the early issues. A sigh of relief.
A massive congratulations to Waggle for taking third place in the final prize, but tytykiller can still win his way into all of our hearts as we do
absolutely
close out the race. We're cheering him on because we are here for tytykiller as well. To see him close out the race, he's had a phenomenal journey to get here to ExileCon, and we are definitely going to see him close it out. I do have a little bit of a... Oh, tytykiller!
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear, the proximity shield pack stacked up and just waiting for him around that corner.
And that's exactly what can happen at any point with these races. Just an unfortunate pattern of events for tytykiller. And with that, he's gonna have to wait and rerun the zone as he does get ready to pick up that fourth place.
The tension is building. You can see the countdown on screen now as he waits the final moments to be able to close out his race. While we do wait, though, I do have an unofficial time. This is the official unofficial time for tytykiller's race finish. Just how fast is he? Well, we might get a more precise time later, but we apparently had the unofficial time of being 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Absolutely incredible. These are the sort of times that these guys would really appreciate in a practice run, but to do this at the ExileCon finals after everything he's been through, after all the qualifiers he had to go through, incredible.
I definitely think tie23he are racing any doubt. He says 102 is slow. Of course he does.
I'm sure you can tell us a little bit more in possibly some interviews and whatnot if we do find the time to do that.
But maybe that's, I don't know if that's humble or the opposite of humble, but nonetheless, he's not happy enough. He's sorry.
A little bit of an apology. We accept it, Ty. That's absolutely fine. As tytykiller continues to get his final placement, getting through these zones, heading on over to the ossuary. Peak focus, Ty. We all believe in you. Maybe we can get some cheers in the crowd to encourage tytykiller as he gets through this zone.
I'm ready to cheer tytykiller on for the closing moments of his race here.
Havoc first person to enter Lionized Watch.
Havoc, race is over, buddy. At least for you it is.
In before. In before they have to enter Lionized to finish the race. That was the official finish, yeah.
Killing Kitava wasn't enough, you had to go to Lionized. First to Lionized.
Good thinking, Havoc. Nicely done.
Just in case, just checking. tytykiller doing some final preparations here for the Kitava fight. He has concluded ossuary. He's just going to do a little bit of a run, and then we'll have the Kitava kill for tytykiller.
Restocking on his portal scrolls. I think that's the right thing to do at this point. And again, if you just pay attention to how nicely he weaves those smoke mines.
Look at that.
And that flame dash. I'm totally not throwing him off at all with what I just said.
Oh my lord.
Remaining focused. Yeah. That was fully timed. Calculated.
Calculated.
Nice.
You only need 1 hit point. That's all you need.
Yep.
That's fine. Beautifully smoke and flame dashing with the perfect combo right into the middle of the back. Gets the risk when you're moving so fast. You might just find yourself in the middle of 7 punches.
And with 704 life, it doesn't take a lot. Those are 2, maybe 3 hits for these guys to go down. And just like that, he's getting ready for this Kitava fight. First phase begins. Nicely dodging the sweep.
Nicely read. No problems there. First phase goes down very quickly with just one attack from Kitava. I just want to say I'm just so happy to have seen that we have had a series of races and then a grand final race at ExileCon. It feels right to me that there's like some racing action at ExileCon, the very first.
Absolutely so. It's been incredibly exciting, and I'm sure it's incredibly exciting for tytykiller as well now, as he dodges all the cheeky slams from Kitava. Can he do this deathless? At this point, TP's out. Make sure that he's got everything that he needs for the ad phase. Drops a little low, drops a little bit more low, and
tytykiller.
With that and no portal.
No portal. Oh dear. That's unfortunate.
That is slightly unfortunate.
Whew, an absolute brutal kill. I thought he was going to pull it through with just a sliver of HP there. It was so very close.
And you can also see on the right, as he shows his skill gems, this is what it takes, guys. His character is so underleveled. He continues to kill mobs. The gems don't get the penalty from the player to mob difference. Therefore, they continuously level without him actually being able to level them up.
They're like, they're maxed out at this point. And like I was saying earlier, he had to push real hard, real underleveled. I would say undergeared, but he did have some kind of nice gear drops, so if I'm being honest. But as you see, it doesn't necessarily make the difference here. tytykiller having a little bit of a fill around here, but yeah, it's just I'm so happy to see like this level of racing happening at ExileCon, and it's just been such a huge effort from a mixture of the community. Certainly with GGG's assistance has been super awesome to see, but it's people out there organizing races, it's the people out there training for the races and practicing for them and putting on a show that people want to watch, and also people tuning in to watch the races.
Oh yeah,
that, make
absolutely.
it happen. So I appreciate that. I love casting races. I love seeing them. So it's awesome. I love casting the races with you, Rise.
Oh, that's deep. That's deep. Hits me right in the feelers.
Yeah.
tytykiller doesn't go for the reset though. Might be a little tricky to get back in. It's a little bit funny. He gets hit by the same pack that he got hit by going in. But I think he's got it under control. Let's see what he opts to go for here. Immediately engages, doesn't waste any time. Let's see.
A little scary moving into that by leaving it from before.
Yes.
But he cleans it up, not too bad. Reads the attacks here, goes out for a portal refresh, not taking any risks after last time.
Oh, this might be tricky, as he does have to deal with a degen on the ground and those heavy hits from those ads at the same time. Another heavy flicker.
Ooh, he sneaks out through the portal. No more
portals.
No portals, buddy. You've got
Don't
to do this.
panic.
It's all
Do not
Do
panic.
not panic. Don't get flicker struck again, because it will one-shot you.
Calm down. He's got it fully under control. He's just playing it up to the audience at this point. Very clearly, he knows what he's doing. Dodges.
tytykiller finishes it off.
Showing emotion, but I think we could definitely get some claps.
Yes.
Nicely done by all the players. Fantastic display. And this has been an extremely exciting finish.
Absolutely. It's always heart-wrenching to see tytykiller. He always feels the feelings of the races. So definitely give him that love, send him that love for putting on a great show for all of us. And definitely to all of our racers today, tie23 winning the race, proving to himself that the man behind the mystery is absolutely phenomenal racer. No shadow, no doubt, right? No doubt.
This guy's crazy.
You're crazy. This guy's crazy. And Havoc as well coming in second, just showing so much practice.
What a race! That was a lot of fun. So I think we have a new Kitava record. I do not have the numbers, but it's significantly faster than we've seen before, I think. And that was amazing to watch. Jonathan and I watched the whole thing, both behind the scenes and down there in the audience. That was awesome. So, in order of slowest to fastest, thank you everyone. First of all, we'd like to congratulate tytykiller. Could you come up here, please? Thank you so much for coming. It's awesome. Great. And in third place, Waggle. So you've won $2,500 US. We'll arrange the details with you to get you that cash. I didn't bring it with me. So, yep. Congratulations, man. You did great. Thank you so much. In second place, we have Havoc. Thank you very much. Yes, we'll get you your $5,000 US. Thanks very much. And of course, first place, we have tie23he. Now, not only do we have the $10,000 US that we will give you, but in addition, we have prepared a trophy for the 2019 ExileCon race champion. So hopefully we can get the camera to zoom in. You can see a marauder triumphantly lifting his maul. And this is etched in crystal for you. Don't drop it. Oh. Congratulations, man. Great race. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That concludes ExileCon 2000.